Hey everybody, Nick Licamella here on Technique Peak. Today I'm going to show you an exercise to work on core stability. I call it the lying overhead pull down. I like this exercise because it works on core stability with upper and lower extremity movement. And it's also resisted, so you can increase the weight as one way to progress it. Let's take a look. So we're going to start lying on your back in front of a low cable station or a low band or a pulley system. And the most important thing here is we're going to do that little pelvic tilt that you see I'm doing here, okay? Most important part of this exercise, you don't want to arch the back like I'm showing here. You want to do the opposite and press that lower back down into the floor right there and lock that in by engaging your core. What do I mean by engage your core? Well, from the top down, we're going to engage the diaphragm with a good breath. We're going to engage from the bottom up with our pelvic floor by pulling up like we're holding in gas or urine. And then we're going to engage that transverse abdominis that runs around the midsection like a corset, almost as if we're putting on a tight belt after Thanksgiving dinner or walking into a cold pool and the water is kind of drifting up on our navel. So locking in that position, now we're going to pull with straight arms and then come nice and slowly back up. As I move up, it's going to get harder and harder to maintain that spinal and lumbopelvic position. A progression of this exercise is to add a crunch at the top, just like this. And notice that I'm not crunching like down to my knees. I'm crunching up into a diagonal, up to the ceiling almost. That's going to create the optimal line of pull to keep tension on the anterior abdominals. And I'm maintaining that lumbopelvic position. Another variation is just to hold this position here in an isometric contraction and resist the arms from drifting upward. Another progression would be to lift one leg up off the ground. And now we're going to, again, maintain that lumbopelvic position and perform the exercise just as we mentioned before. And then, of course, switch sides, almost like a dead bug. So now the same progressions that we would do with a dead bug apply to this. Both legs up would be the next progression from single leg. And then as we increase the lever arm, so straighten out the legs, it gets harder and harder to maintain that neutral spine. So you can see that this exercise is kind of like an inverted ab wheel rollout. And it targets the core in a very similar way. As the arms move up over my head further and further, it gets harder and harder to maintain that neutral spine. Just like with an ab wheel, the further you roll the ball out and bring your arms up over your head, the harder it is to maintain that neutral spine. So give this one a shot. I think you're going to like it. It's a great way to train the core, and it's easy to progress as well as regress. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Technique Peak, and we'll see you next time.